Um, so becoming a referee is not very difficult. There are 4 levels. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. To be completely honest, the levels don't really matter so much. Until you get to, like, if you want to do like districts and nationals, then you're going to want to be a level 3 or a 4 in order to get those assignments. So again, when you're just starting out, you're going to start at a level 1. Doesn't matter if you're 12 or 60. So you start out at level 1, and then the next year you bump up to 2, then you bump up to 3, and then you can stay at 3 or you can go to 4. The biggest difference between 3 and 4 is there's a skating test, and the test is a little harder, like the actual like written test, a little difficult. To become a ref, all you have to do is you register, you pay the money, which I think is $45 for level 1s. I think it's $90 for 2s, 3s, and 4s. You sign up for a seminar, which if you're level 1, it's in person. If it's level 1 or 2, it's in person. If it's level 3 or 4, it'll be virtual. So you sign up, go to a seminar. There are online modules you have to complete. There's like 8 required ones, which is a lot of them are safe sport, DEI, all that stuff. And then you have to pick 10 or 12 electives. So you complete that. You do your open book test, which is 100 questions. You have a couple times to take that. Most people pass it because, I mean, you're literally, the questions come right from the text, from the rule book. And then that's it, right? Yep. Obviously the referees are still held to the same standards with safe sport and any sort of the background checks, any of that stuff. In the event we happen to be out there that's an 05 or younger or older, they would have to take safe sport because they would turn 18 during this year, this season. And that's pretty much it. Now, every year there's typically a closed book test. If you're going level 2, 3, 4, they have lifted that this year. I think they want to bring in more refs, so they got rid of the closed book, and then they got rid of the skating test for the level 4s. That'll probably be back though, so in the event. All right.
So are there opportunities for referees to interact with, say, a high school team or band team? How does that operate?
What do you mean, like?
Interact with the rules, encouraging them to potentially get involved in refereeing, etc.
Yes. We've been doing pretty hard, doing a pretty decent job recruiting this year. We set up 4 seminars, 2 filled up completely. We're going to actually add another one. So if you're in the Columbus area, we've got a couple coming up still. We do reach out to the teams before the game, before the season, if they request it. Sometimes we'll meet with the league. That's more of a just discussion about rules and things we're looking for, stuff like that. As far as like recruiting those high school players, is that?
We'll say that you've got some people on Zoom here that are from California. How can they go about involving their teams with the officials?
I mean, the best thing is reach out to the local referee association. You're going to have one. Whoever schedules your games, I reach out to the director or president and just be like, hey, we'd like to have a meeting. Again, anybody can come to the seminar. There are actually level 0 referees as well. These are non-skating refs. We actually are going to bring in a few guys like that, where they're just going to come out and just watch the basics and evaluate the referees at the lower level. And like they take the test as well. They do the seminar. And we're going to pay them like $25 a game to come out and watch and just like help new referees. Hey, blow your whistle a little louder. Or, hey, maybe stand closer to the net next time. I mean, nothing advanced, but just something enough to help these new guys get some reinforcement so we don't keep losing new guys. So, but again, if you're not around here, I just reach out to the association. There's got to be a way. I mean, refs, we're human. We're nice. We want the game to be fun as well. So, because we're there as much as you guys are at the rink. Any other questions on how to become a ref? That's pretty much it. Oh, good. Okay, cool. All right, so communication. So this is the is it live up there now? Okay, so this is the video they give us to give out at the seminar, level 1, level 2 seminar. So again, I'm not going to sit here and just read it to you, but we'll go through it all. There's a little video at the end with a couple examples. Now this does incorporate player communication as well, which is, and we can talk about it, but I think the focus here is how to how officials and referees should communicate with each other appropriately, so that it's actually like a worthwhile conversation and not like a yelling fest. So let's see. It's just where's your mouse, Dave? Got it. Okay. One thing we teach our guys is like first and foremost, like every game, go over and just say hi to the coach. Just go say hi. Hi, I'm Todd. Nice to meet you. Hey, how's the season going? Things of that nature. A lot of times teams will come here to Columbus and they play at like noon and they play at 4. You know, if you have the 4 o'clock game, like, hey, how'd the noon game go? You know, how'd you guys win? Okay, just a brief, how you doing? That gives you a little bit of rapport. If you have any questions, just call me over. So again, if officials are approachable, it's not a combative conversation, at least out of the blue. Refs are going to be concise. They're going to be the explanations are not going to be long. It doesn't need to be back and forth. Just like, hey, what'd you see there? Well, I saw this, you know, blah, blah, blah. Here's the rule. Fair enough. Thank you. And then that's it. That's the conversation. All right. And obviously there's nonverbal communication where your signals, you know, if I'm at the blue line and I'm waving it off, that's not onside, that's not offsides. If I'm right there and I have a good signal, you see it, everybody knows it's a good call. Okay. The one thing that always makes me laugh is I tell these guys, you got to get to the blue line before the players do, because who's standing at the blue line in the first and third period? That would be the coach of the other team. So you got to get there and then just use your signal so that everybody knows you were there in time and made the right call. Typically, you're going to talk to the coach most of the time. In your higher level games, you can talk to the captain if they have a question. Usually, we're going to talk to the coach because, again, you got to send the captain out and then you got to tell him what you want. And then he has to go back. And then the coach has another question, and it's like, just go to the coach. So we have our guys try to go to the coach as long as they are being reasonable. So again, if you're screaming and hollering, I'm going nowhere near you because that conversation is going nowhere. All right. Obviously, if you want to talk to the captain and he's, you know, acting up, you want to go to the coach. But we try to go to the coach at most levels, especially little ones, because, I mean, I can't imagine telling a 10-year-old a rule explanation and having that one recite that back to the coach. All right. Yeah, again, you're going to talk with the older players when it's, you know, the kids are a little older. I've addressed a lot of this here. Obviously, one thing that local refs can get in a bad habit of is you see the same teams a lot of times. So like when, you know, Columbus is playing Pittsburgh, you know, and you talk to the Columbus coach for like 4 of the 5-minute warm-up, that looks pretty bad. So again, make sure you talk to both sides, both teams, how you doing, etc. You want to look like you're favoring a team, right? This is more talking towards the players during the game. Obviously, just you can compliment good plays. You can, hey, I'm on the boards. There's a video here at the end. You'll see it. Like, I'm on the boards again. This communication with players again, which is not the main focus of why I'm here, but we are going to talk to the players to keep the game moving. And then that little blue, a moving puck is a referee's best friend. So when the conversation with the coach and the ref goes south, it's like, let's get the puck down and let's go. So, but we're hoping that, you know, that coaches and refs obviously are going to be just get on the same page. Let's not argue. Let's just, here's the rule. Here's what I saw. And again, if I miss something, we tell our guys, like, you got to own it up. You got to go over and be like, hey, I screwed that up, man. Sorry. I screwed you up. I said, I don't know what to do, but let's just keep playing. So again, I think coaches appreciate the honesty because, again, refs are human. We're going to mess up. Again, this is more about signals. And here's a video because they can hear this. I hope you guys can hear it. I can pause it first. Okay, I was just gonna make sure it's loud enough in here.
It's good.
Okay. You read it slow.
What was the presentation of communication? Although the majority of an official's communication with the players, coaches, and spectators is done non-verbally, there are instances where effective verbal communication is necessary during the course of the game. This may occur both during the play and during stoppages, and will be an effective way for the official to boost credibility. The manner in which an official verbally communicates will be a reflection of the attitude of the official. An official who refuses to explain a rule interpretation to a team captain appears to be authoritative and is not willing to cooperate with the participants. An official who is willing to give a brief and accurate interpretation is seen as an official who is willing to give the same respect to the participants that is expected from them. In this clip, 16 Green looks at the goalie at the end of play. The official takes this opportunity to approach the player in a calm manner and correct their behavior. Body language from both the official and the player tell us this was effective communication. Verbal communication can be an effective tool both during play and during stoppages. Here are some examples when verbal communication by the official may be necessary. Verbal communication in these instances will notify your partners and the player as to the proper call while reinforcing the fact that you saw the play and are confident in your decision. The official's position in clear nonverbal communication with the waiver make this an example of effective communication. The common mistake is to over-verbalize in these situations. Doing so in every instance gives the impression the official is coaching the players or does not want to assess a penalty. When a verbal warning is given, the official must be prepared to stop play and assess the appropriate penalty if the action continues. Failure to do so will simply create a boy who cried wolf syndrome that will confuse the players. Let's listen into this clip for an example.
Move it, move it. Let's go. Referee on board.
The official plan rules clearly state the captain of the team is the only participant who is eligible to talk to the official. However, common sense tells us that in the spirit of cooperation, there may be instances when the official should communicate with the coach or other players. A good time to talk to the coach and establish credibility is when the coach is calm and has a reasonable question or genuine concern. Let's listen to the officials. Notice how they're clear, stern, and concise while hearing out the coach.
Don't call anything I got over here that gets laid out with a shot to the head, and that's questionable.
The captain is your best point of contact at other levels with simple situations and if the coach is being unruly. Here's an example of the officials communicating with some captains. Effective communication skills require a wide range of qualities. Although officials who are effective communicators tend to be more successful, following these communication tips will help every official become a more effective communicator. Make an effort to answer all reasonable questions briefly and accurately. A team or player who does not understand a rule or interpretation will only become frustrated when the official refuses to answer a legitimate question. Avoid threatening players and coaches. When you threaten to assess a penalty or tell the players and coaches that you will call every infraction prior to the game, you're putting yourself in a difficult situation and you must be prepared to back up every time. Never use obscene or vulgar language. We penalize players for using foul language, and we should certainly hold ourselves to the same standard. Thanks for watching. We're now ready to take the chapter.
Cool. A couple notes on that I wanted to discuss. One thing is a visual. I don't know if you guys saw that with when the ref came, what he came over and talked about, like the hit to the head or whatever. Notice that coach was not on the bench. He was on the rubber. So again, if we're gonna go over and talk to you, it definitely looks better if you just come down as opposed to standing there and just like look like you're yelling at the ref. I like how it says no vulgar language. Who's ever seen a video of Wes McCauley in NHL? No, sorry, he's a little boisterous, right? Yeah, but again, if we can penalize you for vulgar language, we shouldn't be using it because again, it's unfair. It doesn't make any sense. I have a question actually for you guys. When you guys sign up to coach, did you get the situation book and the rule book, or just the rule book? You didn't even get a rule book.
The rule book's online.
Oh, I guess you can download the app. Okay. If you guys haven't, this book is huge. There are situations like crazy in the rule book. I would suggest going through some of them if you get a chance, because again, there's some weird things. Actually, literally yesterday I had a game and the question was on the test this year, and it actually happened in the game. So I would have missed it had I not looked the rule up, to be honest. But they do happen, but there's some really good situations in there. The goalie came out to poke check, he missed and got his legs. And I was like, well, he left his feet, because technically under the clipping rule, it says if you leave your feet and it causes the opponent to trip or fall, it's 2 minutes. The exception there is if you go drop to block a shot to your knees, or if it's a goalie and his intention is to play the puck. So if I think he went out to trip the guy, that's tripping, but because he was trying to play the puck and he caught him in the skate, it was good. It was not a penalty. So weird. It was question 27 on my test. Yep. I guess the only thing I want to touch on, I guess, just so you guys, I mean, they changed the rules last year. They're going to change it every 5 years now, I think. The biggest thing is they got rid of they added, if you get any major comes with a game automatically. So you can get a minor for some things. You can get a 2 and 10 for some things. If you get a major, it comes with a game in all situations, even adult league. And they got rid of the language saying if you injure somebody, that's a 5 in a game. So now it's reckless and danger. So that's a little more broad. But if you can go 5 in a game or match, refs aren't looking to match guys. But again, if you hit somebody who's vulnerable and they could really get hurt, there might be match penalties. So it has nothing to do with injury anymore. Okay. I think one of the reasons they got rid of that is, what is an injury? If his nose is bleeding, is that an injury? I mean, is he out 2 shifts later? I mean, if the ambulance comes, clearly he's injured, but there's a lot of gray area. What does injured mean? Now they're saying if there's a reckless endangerment, they can go 5 in a game or a match. I think that's all I really wanted to discuss, unless you guys have questions about any registration or even new rules or communication. Feel free to. Okay, so the question was, she was a level 1 several years ago. That's a good question. You would have to, if you take off, I think, a couple of years, I think you have to restart. So I think it's 2 years, maybe 3. But again, we have refs that have played college hockey that, like, they'll come in as a level 1, but they might be working a U18 game or U16 game because they can skate, they know the game, they pick it up quick. So again, the levels aren't as important as they seem, only if you want to do districts or nationals. So if you want to referee districts, you'd need to be level 4. If you want to line districts, you would have to be level 3. At least that's how it works in mid-am. So.
There's some common misunderstandings that coaches have, whether it be rules or otherwise, that you see out there, or things that may come up multiple times during the year.
I guess the biggest one I run into is just not knowing the rule. So and again, it's not anybody's fault, so to speak, because you can watch the NHL, you can watch college, you can watch high school. Like I said, the games I do in town, there's 4 different rule books I have to know. So some have hybrid icing. So, whoever seen the referee mess up an icing? Done it. Okay, everybody says center ice, center ice, center ice. Well, as far as I understand it, USA Hockey is the only rule book to where it goes all the way to where the puck was at the time of the whistle. Everybody else goes center ice. So, like, you'll hear that being yelled at you. And it's just like the weird differences in the rules from what you watch on TV, from what we do here at USA Hockey. So just approach the ref and be like, hey, I thought that was this. And like, well, you're right. I'll say this a lot. Like, you're right. On TV, you're absolutely right. That's the right call. I said, unfortunately, here we do it this way. So I would just, reference the rule book, and don't base everything you see on TV, because the USA is a little different in a lot of ways. That would be